Discussing medical injuries under Pakistan Penal Code 337. It is the main concern for the MOs and WMOs working in the periphery as well as in teaching hospital, because every WMOs and MOs has to give the MLC as an initial IMLO in his correspondence. But because of the different influences of the persons, we are persistently under great concern what to do or what not to do. But the thing is that, first of all, you should understand that clapping cannot be made by single hand. So the victim who is in front of you and the other person who is accused, consider them both are guilty. So, and give the report according to the rule and according to the things which you see, because it will be easy for you to counter in the court as well. So the injuries under Pakistan Penal Code are divided into Shuja and Jur. Shuja is basically the injuries of head and face of any person. It is further divided into Shuja Khafifa, Shuja Mudya, Shuja Hashma, Shuja Ama and Shuja Damya. Without exposing the bone of the victim is said to be Shuja Khafifa. By exposing the bone of the victim without causing fracture is named as Shuja Mudya. By fracture of the victim and dislocation it is called Shuja Hashma. And causing the fracture of the victim, thereby bone dislocation, is called as Shuja Munakila. And fracture of the skull without rupture of membrane is Shuja Ama, and when the membranes are ruptured it is Shuja Damya. Now the thing is that if you label one of these points to the patient, what it will cause under the Pakistan Penal Code, it should be understood and known to you, so that you cannot do any negligence or any favor to the accused or victim. Now the Shuja Khafifa, which plenty will person face, he shall be liable to daman and also be punished for imprisonment for 2 years. Now the Shuja Mudya, exposing the bone without fracture, he will pay a qisas or a diyat and also can be imprisonment for 5 years. So bone exposure can lead to 5-year imprisonment with qisas. Every person you see in the center says that, oh, bone is exposed, just give him bone exposed. So just think over it. In Pakistan society, the victims are mostly uneducated persons. If police enters in their homes and if they goes to the courts, their property is lost, their honor is lost, everything is lost. Bone exposed mean when you see the incision side or wound side, complete bone is exposed. It is labeled as exposed. If you take apart the tissue and say that is exposed, this is not exposed. So please try to understand, if you are giving any stance on the injury, what it will cause to the person. In fact, Shuja Khafifa can lead to 2-year imprisonment. Now Shuja Hashma, when there is a fracture with no dislocation, what it will cause? It will cause 10% of the diyat with 10-year imprisonment. Fracture without dislocation can lead to 10% diyat, Shuja Hashma, and also 10-year imprisonment. In our society, just like you see, bone is fractured, nose bone. Most of the persons, they break itself. Don't give them as a genuine fracture. Give them as a friendly hand. Nowadays, ulnar injury is most common. They infiltrate a local anesthesia over the site and they fracture it. Here it is, you should be conscious whether it is genuine or ingenuine. You should see the marks of injury, marks of bruise, any fight, any assault issues, then consider it. Otherwise, think over it for friendly hands. Now, the Shuja Ama, which means fracture of skull, can lead to 1/3 of the death with 10-year imprisonment. Shuja Damya, which is the fracture of membrane with protrusion of membranes, rupture of membranes, then it will lead to 1/2 of the death with 14-year imprisonment. Previous Shuja was 337A. Now this is Jur 337B, 337B. Now Jur is divided into two categories, Jur Jaifa and Jur Ghair Jaifa. Now Jur Jaifa, whoever caused an injury in which the injury extends to the body cavity of the trunk is called Jaifa. Now this will label as Jur Jaifa. Jur Jaifa will be cause the person liable to ash and 1/3 of death and punishment for about 10 years, and it can be unbailable. Now the which does not injure the body cavity is labeled as Ghair Jaifa. Ghair Jaifa are further divided into, now Jur Ghair Jaifa can be labeled into Damya, Badiya, Mutalahma, Mudiya, Hashma and Munakla. Now in Damya, the skin is ruptured and bleeding occur, it is called Damya. By cutting or incising the flesh without exposing the bone is said to be Badiya. By lacerating the flesh is said to be called as Mutalama. By exposing the bone is said to be Mudiya. By causing fracture of bone without dislocation is said to be Hashma, and by fracture and dislocation of bone is called Munakila. It is slightly bit similar to that of Hashma, but the punishment are slightly different to them. In Damya, person will be liable to Daman and will be punished with imprisonment either for term which may extend to 1 year. Badiya shall be liable to Dama and also be punished with imprisonment extendable to 3 years. Mudiya can also be lead to 3-year imprisonment. Hashma is up to 5 years, and Munakla is up to 7 years. Now you see the chart which I am showing you in the end. Consider it first of all your safety, and then think of the person, and do not accept any force from any person, because in this world it will lead to punishment to the normal punishment to the non-guilty person. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.